back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So we're back, baby. We're open again. Not fully open. It's not full freedom yet, but it feels like it. Everything is open except for restaurants and bars at the moment. But everything else is open. Coconut stands are open. Mango guys open. Juice bars. If you want to buy a sari, you can go into a store and buy a fucking sari. If you need a fluorescent orange yo-yo, you can go to a store and get that. If you need to buy a vacuum in the middle of a street, you can get that. I saw a guy today. He was sitting in a street. Not a business street, not a commercial area or anything. Just a fucking back street. He was sitting there on the corner of two fucking basically empty streets. He had a stand. He had like a vacuum on top of the stand with an umbrella on top. And he was sitting there trying to sell the vacuum, getting people to sign up for a vacuum. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but that's a tough gig. I saw another guy on the way back home from my walk too. Same setup, trying to sell a coffee machine. Just a stand, a coffee machine on it, an umbrella, and he's sitting next to it with like a pen and paper, getting people to sign up for street coffee machines. And again, it was nowhere near any commercial area or anything. It was just in the middle of a fucking street. So you know when the street fucking vacuum salesman and the coffee machine salesman is setting up, you know things are going to start opening up for sure. It's pretty fucking open out there. There's a bit of a buzz. It was a little bit of a lull. The energy out there was like, are we allowed to be out of the house? No one's sure because there was no announcements. There's no one coming on TV saying the restrictions have been listed. I think the chief minister of this state just sends a text message to a mate with the rules he just made up, and then it spreads through social media. I don't know how people figure this shit out, but there was a little bit of a buzz. That was day one. Tomorrow there will be full buzz out there. I'll get another driving vlog out there this week. I'll try and get onto the main road this time in peak hour. That's where it gets fucking dicey. But there's still a curfew, but they raised it till 5 o'clock. And I was out there at about 5:30 and none of the shops were closing up. It still looked like they had a good fucking hour in them before they started winding up their shops. There were people out there playing cricket, like fucking maybe 80 or 90 people in a small little cricket field. Not really a cricket field, just a fucking area of red dust. Playing cricket, no one was wearing masks, it was beautiful. The sun was shining. I'm ready for a fucking holiday. Give it a week of things being open and I'll be a jaded cunt again. But I'm really pushing for that holiday. I said I'm going to the Himalayas while I'm in India. I don't give a fuck. And I didn't seem to get any pushback at all. So I think the Himalayas is on the cards. Imagine that fucking driving vlog. That'd be off its head. But I'm starting to feel a little bit optimistic about things cranking back up. So there'll probably be an alien landing or some fucking bomb or terrorism attack or something like that to shut everything down again. I don't know. The bullshit does seem to be never ending. Anyway, it is that time of the week again. It is Monday, the first day of the week. Fuck those cunts that say Sunday's the first day of the week. Who even says that? That's just some fucking nerd in primary school that thinks they know a little bit more than you. Shut up, nerd. Monday's the first day, and you know what Monday is. Monday is Ask Boyle. Fuck the jingle. Ask me a question, tell me a rhyme, 'cause it's Ask Boyle time. Ask Boyle. I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that was the lyrics to the jingle. So Ask Boyle is very self-explanatory. You cunts, ask me a question. It doesn't matter what it's about because I'm an absolute fucking bottomless pit of wisdom. So just send in your question, send it into my social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, or email me on boylecomedy@gmail.com. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by Jimbo. Jim Bob over there in Queensland, Australia. So Jim Bob sent in this. Just wanted to ask you some advice on dating. Jimbo, I should be fucking charging for this. Join the Patreon. I've been off the booze for 90 odd days. This kind of coincided with my relationship of 5 odd years breaking down. It's been a weird couple of months, but I've started feeling pretty okay. Somehow in the last week or two, I managed to meet a girl at a cafe, get her number, and ask her out for a drink/date. Things went pretty well. Conversation was easy and we got along fine. Pretty much all good until the end where, for whatever reason, things got awkward. I probably freaked out a bit, overthinking shit on the car ride home. I can't have cooked it too bad because she is keen on a second date. Just wanted to get some Boyle wisdom, as I know we can't keep the excited first date convo running forever. And I worry that without shoving beers down when the nerves and anxiety creep in, I'll just keep coming across as an awkward mess. Well, Jimbo, you have come to the right place. So you sort of left out one of the biggest parts of this whole story. You forgot to tell me what you did at the end to make things awkward, or why it got awkward. I'm just going to have to assume there was a moment there at the end where you wanted to kiss her, she wanted you to finger her, and you did neither. So I'm just going to guess why it got awkward. Because you've been out of the game 5 years, you didn't know how to close out a date. You didn't know whether you lean in for a kiss, ask for another date, ask her back to your place, roofie her, throw her in the trunk. You just didn't know what to do. And I'm guessing she would have been sending off a vibe you weren't picking up. So the communication would have broken down. Then you're thinking about it in the car and it's doing your head in. But you got a second date, so you definitely didn't cook it. So you're still in. And congratulations on picking up a girl old school as well. Cafe, smooth talking. What's your number? Let's go for a date. That's it. That's the way to do it. That's like analog. That's like videotapes. That's like the VHS tapes dating. So what you really want to know is how to deal with your nerves and anxiety in the next date without fucking drinking and without coming across as an awkward mess. All right, the Boyle's been out of the game for a long time too, but I doubt there is anyone on this earth that knows more about women than me. So women don't really give a fuck if you're being like nervous and awkward because you really like them. They don't like the nervous and awkward like incel, can't make eye contact, sweaty, computer programmer, autistic types. That's what they're not attracted to. But if you're naturally nervous because you like them, they can sense that. Women's instinct's pretty fucking good. They can tell the difference between you being awkward because you are an awkward freak and you just being awkward because you're nervous about the situation and you like her. But then you've also got to skirt a fine line because there is such a thing as being too awkward and it's just not worth their time. But that can be easily overcome. The awkwardness can be easily overcome. You just need that little bit of time to relax in. How are you going to get that time? Easy. If you knew women the way I knew women, you would know that there is nothing women like to do more than to talk. So if you get there and you're feeling nervous and you're getting a little bit of anxiety, have a few questions. I would actually bring up the awkwardness at the end of the last date at the start of the second date. I'd be like, hey, this has been playing in my head for a little bit since our last date, but it got pretty awkward at the end there, didn't it? What was that about? Was I reading the signals wrong? Should I have just tried to finger you? That's the signal you were giving me, wasn't it? That's what I'd do. Just bring up the end of the last date. At the start of the first date, you'll relax into it. Then just ask a question. It can be about anything. And let her fucking roll. And if you don't interrupt her, that train will leave the station and it will miss every single stop along the way. The express train into town. And you won't have to do a lot. Just listen. If you listen, it's going to be a lot easier to come up with your next question. But you need to listen because that next question has to be a good question and then just let her take off again. So that's 2 questions. By the time she answers that question, you're an hour and 20 minutes into the date. You're already at fucking dessert. Now it's time to seal the deal. And this is how you end the date. You go, so you're working tomorrow? And she goes, yeah, what about you? And you go, nah, I'm a freelancer. I just work my own hours. You're unemployed, but she doesn't need to know that on the second date. And you go, what time do you start? And she goes, 9 o'clock. And you go, whereabouts is your office again? And she tells you, and you go, well, that's kind of near my place. Do you want to come back to my place and we'll share a bottle of wine? And she'll be like, well, I got to work tomorrow morning. I'm still in the clothes I wore yesterday. And you go, that doesn't matter. You can borrow some of my mum's clothes. She has heaps of clothes. That's how you do it. You just get her back to your mum's place, crank up the stereo, and bang her to some Nirvana. That's how you do it. That's old school. Anyway, good luck with that, Jimbo. I hope it helped. That definitely helped. What am I talking about? But thanks for sending in the question. Let me know how it goes. That's it for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.